G'day, I'm Gavin from Hurley's Fly Fishing and welcome to another episode of On The Fly. Today we're on one of my favourite rivers in Australia and it's literally only a couple of hours outside of Melbourne. Northeast Victoria, it's got a lot of rivers around this area and you spend a few days here, you can experience them all. We've got to a little bit later in the season, but there's plenty of grasshoppers, so I've stuck with my tried and true Royal rubber leg stimulator. Just imitates a grasshopper or a big caddis really well. And the fish, particularly up in these rivers, absolutely love it. I've also got a Stalker Legend, our 25-year anniversary rod in a 4-weight. Ideal for this sort of situation because you can come across fish that could be 1, 2, 3, even up to 4 pound. So you want something with a bit of kick in it once you need to steer them around these rocks. Ideally, we're going to look to fish these runs here. You can see through there, there'll be a bubble line coming down. There's a lot of boulders, and I guess for a trout, which is generally pretty lazy, he wants a bit of a deflection. And I guess if we're at home too and we're on the treadmill, you can either have it at full speed and you're swimming like buggery to stay in the one spot, or you have it on slow. And that's what a boulder does. It deflects water and allows that fish to stay in the same place with very little energy used. As the water comes down, it brings the food to them. So it's the ideal situation. You look up here, there could be a chance there's a boulder there, that's going to deflect the water. Could be a fish behind it. Further up, even boulders under the water, which is ideal to have a good set of glasses. You're going to be able to see that deflection of water. There's a good chance there's a fish there. So we'll work our way upstream like this, putting our fly in as many places as we can using our grid system, and hopefully one of these fish thinks it's all right. Now, there could well be fish spread out. Because there's enough depth in this stream, they could be sitting anywhere along this river system, but pay particular close attention to the edge where it's a little bit deeper and where the trees are. So it gives them a bit of cover and a lot of food can come falling off those trees as well. But work your way along, don't discount any water. They can all hold fish. Oh, little boulder under the surface there, and sure enough that's where a fish was sitting, and just missed him. They do tend to take it very fast here, so they'll grab it and spit it back out. Much the same as we would if we put something in our mouth and wasn't what we liked, we'd get rid of it pretty quick as well. So in these faster rivers, they tend to spit it out pretty quick. So you do need to be reasonably fast with your strike to make sure you can try and set that hook. They generally won't take it twice. It's worth a cast again. Sometimes you could change flies or even go to a nymph if you really wanted to catch that fish, or find another one. Up towards the top of this pool, more than likely to have your bigger fish as well. They get first crack at the food as it comes down. And they could be spread anywhere throughout, but my ideal would be on the left hand side. There's a little bit of water deflection, a little bit deeper. And we'll certainly put a few casts over there. Go, nice little fish, exactly where you're expecting one to be, and lovely little brown. Might not even need the net for this one. We'll have him in there, but lovely little red spots. Beautiful little fish. We'll just get that stimulator out. Hang on, mate. Beautiful, and let him go. Yep, good to go. But that's what it's about. We've walked up here and seen a nice little run here where lovely little bit of water cascading over there, nice and oxygenated. So in the summer when it does get hot, there's going to be, you know, a good bit of flow, nice cool water and plenty of oxygen. So that's where you're expecting a fish to be. So it's good. You always got to have a theory. You don't want to just jump in willy-nilly and cast all over the place. Pick the areas where you think a fish is going to be, concentrate your casts around there, and every now and then it works. So it's good. Could even be another one there. We'll see. There you go. We've got a lovely little, looks like a black snake. I'm not sure if it's a red belly or a yellow belly, but just warming up. His environment too, so you just got to stay clear, not try and harm them, and they'll get out of your way most of the time anyway. So just be aware of them and keep the distance, and they won't give you any trouble. There we go, finally. Oh, nice little fish too. Oh, and it's got off. That's a little bit disheartening there. He looked to be a good solid little fish, and by the way he took it and took off, seemed to be like a rainbow. And sometimes the hook just pulls out, not much you can really do, but a bit disappointing, but it's a lovely little run. We've been doing quite a few casts up along here, and you're expecting a hit every time, and you really need that rod, like I always say, like a mouse trap. So when it takes, bang, because they're fast takes in these little rivers, they'll hit it quick and spit it out quick. We've got to strike pretty quick, and we're all ready all the time just to set that hook, which sort of happened there, and it pulled out, you know, not life-threatening, but an excellent little run. You can see that water just cascading down there on those little rapids. Puts a lot of oxygen and energy into the river system, and where it holds a lot of nymphs in there as well. So that's where they're often going to let go. And this beautiful little run here with the bubble line is ideal. So that's where you'd want to concentrate a lot of your casts around there. And every now and then you're going to get a fish that's going to take your fly like then. Sometimes you land them, sometimes you don't. But the main thing is just reassures you you've got the right fly and you put it in the right place, and you're going to let him go anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But main thing is we're out having a go on a lovely day like this. Oh, nice little fish there too. And that's in a good little spot as we get up towards the head of the pool. And after the last one getting off, I'm a little bit apprehensive, but I mean, they're just fish. So we won't get in too much of a panic even if he does, but it's just good to get one to take your fly. Just makes it a lot more enjoyable. And we'll get him in the net eventually. Come on, mate. No, he's not ready yet. It's always good to have the net like on an attachment, so if you do need to wind up further, you can let it go and still attach. We'll drag him back now. All right, anyway, we've got one in the net, so that's a little bit of a relief after the other one getting away. The other one was twice as big, but anyway, sizes and everything. But this is a lovely fish, you know, just to get something like that on a lovely little river on a great day like this is just great fun. And on a light little rod, I mean, I go over it a lot, but you've really got to get the right gear to suit the environment you're fishing in. So this is a 7.5 foot Stalker Legend in a 3 weight. So it's ideal for this sort of water. lovely presentation, but it's also got enough power. If you want to throw a big long line, you can certainly do that with the power that this rod's got. So, and great fun on smaller fish like this, gives you a real lot of enjoyment. There we go. Beautiful little brown. Leave them in the water for as long as we can. But you can see there all the spots through there in the sunshine. It doesn't have that big red stripe, but they do have those spots. And just a beautiful little fish. And we might let him go to grow a bit bigger. But a lovely little fish just the same. In these small little streams, we really want to let them go and let them grow up and be big fish too, and give somebody else some enjoyment. But it's a pristine little river, you know, and there's plenty of them all around Victoria, and in particular up in northeast Victoria. So get the opportunity, get out there and have a go. You're going to have a real lot of fun doing it. Now the gear I use when I'm fishing these Australian streams, I use breathable waders. So even on warm days like today, you don't get hot and sweaty. I prefer the zippered version for a number of reasons. For footwear, you want something pretty sturdy because you don't want to lose balance and you want to protect your ankles. In New Zealand, you must wear rubber soles. So I'll have a pair for New Zealand, or if I'm fishing lakes, the rubber soles give pretty good grip. When I'm fishing these little streams though, I wear like a felt sole version. It just sticks on these slimy rocks like you wouldn't believe. And all it's going to take is save you from falling over once, and it's well worthwhile. Light little rods are ideal. I always carry a wading staff, particularly if you're around long grass. I'd like to give this a bit of a bang in front of me, but also for stability on a lot of these rocks as well. Decent set of glasses, and you've got about all you need to have a lot of fun on these lovely little Australian streams. Oh, a nice little fish. And it was a lovely little run. You could just see with that bubble line, a little bit of deeper water, and just a beautiful little fish. We might not need the net for this one. And surprisingly enough, these are often harder to catch, these smaller fish, because obviously their mouths are much smaller and we've got quite a bigger fly. So not that I'm bragging, but yeah, small is often better. And they're just lovely little fish, and they're virtually little mini-me's of each other, just in various sizes. Lovely spots, so they're probably from the same strain that was released. But a great little fun fish anyway. I mean, half of it, I'll just get that hook out and we can let him go, but half the fun is in the take. Looking for an area where you can cast, guessing where the fish are going to be, and getting him to take, and off he goes. Yep, plenty of go left in him. And that's what it's all about. You look up there and you go, I reckon there could be a fish there. And I go, I reckon he'll take this fly. And I reckon if I cast here, this will happen. And when it works out, you go, oh yeah, we've got a lot of things right there. Get the fish, let it go, everyone's happy, and you feel pretty good about yourself. And there's a lot more water up here that could hold some more fish. Always pay close attention to right on the other bank. That's where a lot of the food's going to come from. Beetles and insects that just fall off trees or washed in. Oh, wasn't a bad little fish. Come up and just took that. But they're almost getting it and almost sort of dragging it down rather than engulfing. That one was probably, I could see that with good Polaroids, you can see it. Probably, 6-8 inches of fish come up and grabbed it and almost just pulled it down by his tail without actually really 100% woofing into it. So just a little bit of hesitation, and that can be, if it's been fished out a little bit, it knows to probably use a bit more caution when it's eating. and you know, might have been frightened before, but they've got to eat sometime too. Now we've just got down to the Goulburn, and there's been a couple of fish just rising just above these little rapids here. And I can't see anything coming off the top, so it could be something just under the surface. So what I've got two little flies. I've got a little Dad's favourite in an 18, and then an unweighted nymph behind it, and we can see him just rising here. A very subtle take, which could mean they're eating something just under the surface as well. So I'm going to put this in front of them, and hopefully that's exactly what they want to eat. Just rising up there. And they will, if there's not a lot of food around, the fish will move around considerably to find that bit of food. If there's a really good hatch, they'll stay in the one spot, so you can concentrate your cast in the one spot because the fish will stay there. But if there's not that constant food, they'll move around in search of it. So you've got to keep your eye on where they're rising and try and get that fly right in front of them. There we go. Oh, nice little one there. And we've been having a couple of casts and at these fish, oh, I'll just steer him out of the way there, and we hadn't got him to take, and we'd been putting a few of these flies, and you start to worry whether it's the right fly or maybe the presentation's not good enough. But it turned out to be okay, so on that one there, and it was just a matter of peppering there, and we have been seeing some rises, and often you might not see the whole head come out, which means he's still taking something just under the surface. So we put a little nymph behind it, an unweighted nymph, which he took just under the surface there. But a lovely little fish from the Goulburn here. He's a good, you know, it's probably a couple of pound there, which is ideal fish in this sort of environment, and great fun on a lovely day in June, just before the end of the season. To get fish just under the surface is just fantastic in a place like this. It's just terrific. We're just there, nice little brown that we'll get here eventually. Come on, mate. Beautiful. And to get one into the net is just fantastic. On the Goulburn River, we're just near Thornton, and it's an amazing river, you know, at all different times of the year. So you get here in the heat of summer, you've got plenty of high water, nice and cool out of Eildon, and then now in June it's obviously chilled up a bit. You might even have fish running up from further down stream, and you can come across some pretty decent fish. But yeah, we'll get him out and have a closer look at him. Lovely fish there, you can see, quite dark, and some lovely red spots, much the same as everyone gets dressed up before they go out. Come spawning time, they darken up and their colours really stand out. So they're a great little fish at this time of year. And a beautiful fish there. And again, hold them up current, just support them. And you really want him to get just some of the water through his gills, a bit of oxygen, and let him swim out of your hands. So just take a little bit of time, even if that water is a bit cold. And he'll let you know when he's good to go. A bit of that flick in that tail. Shouldn't there, he's good to go now, so perfect. Now the gear we're using today is a Stalker Legend in a 9-foot 5-weight. I find a 5-weight's pretty ideal for this sort of situation. A 5-weight gives you a lovely presentation, but if you come across a fish that's got a bit of go in it, this has got enough power to steer him around as well. So you'll find this is ideal for this situation. I guess if you're fishing mainly lakes or you're in New Zealand or Tassie a lot, you might go for a 6-weight, but this sort of scenario is ideal for a 5-weight. We've got a really dull coloured line. This is the Stalker Glide. And a fantastic line for this sort of work because it doesn't frighten the fish. We've got a long leader. We've got a 9-foot 4X leader, which is about 6 or 7 pound at the end. And then we've got 4-pound tippet, about 6 foot of that, because we need our fly line a long way from the fish and a delicate presentation of this lovely glide, that we need our flies. That's the first thing they see. So you need to have the right gear to suit the situation you're going to be targeting these fish in, and you're going to be successful. Right over the top. Come on, mate. And we've just got a couple of fish there. Oh, there's a slightly bigger one coming now. And I've got an unweighted nymph. Just feeding just under the surface. Come on, mate. Oh. And that's what a decent set of Polaroids will do. You'll be able to see that fish like we can there now. Much the same as you would in New Zealand. And allows you to put your cast to where the fish are, to not where they aren't. There's one just rising a little bit further over. I'll just give him a go just here. It's like he drops back for it, but he doesn't need it. Oh, there. Oh. Oh. Man. There's about 4 fish. You're not going to be able to see it from over there, but just with good Polaroid glasses, you can just see in here. And there was about 4 fish from, they're probably 3 to 4 pound that I could see just swimming over there. I didn't catch them, but it's a little bit exciting. That's about it for the days. The sun goes down. It gets a bit chilly too in June, and the season ends like next week. So that's probably all we can do for the moment. We'll come back probably early in the season when it does open in September, maybe show you a little bit of different fishing on the Goulburn.